People call it overthinking, but most of the time, it's fear wearing the mask of preparation. You tell yourself you're being careful. You say you're thinking things through. You convince yourself you just need a little more clarity before you move. But deep down, something else is happening. You are not preparing. You are hesitating. You are stalling. You are trying to mentally outrun uncertainty before life even begins. And the scary part is, overthinking feels productive. That's why it's dangerous. Because while your body is still, your mind is busy. Busy analyzing. Busy replaying conversations. Busy imagining outcomes. Busy predicting problems that haven't even happened yet. So you feel like you're doing something. But in reality, your life remains unchanged. Overthinking is one of the mind's favorite defense mechanisms. Because if you think long enough, maybe you won't make the wrong choice. Maybe you won't get hurt. Maybe you won't fail. Maybe you won't embarrass yourself. Maybe you won't lose control. But life doesn't work that way. No amount of thinking can guarantee safety. And that's the painful truth overthinkers struggle to accept. You can prepare for life, but you can never fully predict it. The mind hates uncertainty. It wants guarantees. It wants reassurance. It wants proof before action. But growth has never worked on proof. Growth works on trust. And that's why overthinking traps so many people. Because the more afraid you are, the more your mind tries to create certainty. It starts calculating every possibility, every mistake, every risk, every outcome. You begin living in hypothetical realities instead of the present moment. And slowly, your mind becomes louder than your life. You stop taking chances. You stop speaking honestly. You stop acting boldly. You stop moving naturally. Everything becomes a mental war. What if I fail? What if they reject me? What if I look stupid? What if I regret it later? What if this goes wrong? And because your brain is designed to protect you, it pays more attention to negative possibilities than positive ones. That's survival instinct. Your ancestors survived by anticipating danger. But in the modern world, that same instinct often becomes emotional paralysis. You are no longer running from predators. You are running from discomfort, from vulnerability, from uncertainty, from emotional exposure. And overthinking becomes the shield, a shield that feels intelligent, but slowly destroys confidence. Because confidence is not built through endless thinking. Confidence is built through action. Every time you avoid action, you unknowingly teach your brain something dangerous. You cannot handle uncertainty, so the fear grows stronger. That's why overthinking gets worse over time if left unchecked. The more you obey fear, the more authority it gains over your life. Soon, even simple decisions feel overwhelming. You overanalyze text messages. You replay interactions in your head. You imagine arguments that never happened. You create problems before reality creates them. And the exhausting part is this. Most of the things you fear never even happen. Your mind creates storms that your life never experiences. But your body still pays the price. The stress, the anxiety, the sleepless nights, the emotional exhaustion, all caused by battles taking place inside your own head. Overthinking steals peace because it pulls you away from the present. Your body exists here, but your mind lives somewhere in the future, always predicting, always calculating, always bracing for impact. And eventually, you become addicted to mental control. You believe if you think enough, you can prevent pain. But pain is part of life. Disappointment is part of life. Uncertainty is part of life. No human being escapes those things. The people who grow are not the people who eliminate fear. They are the people who stop worshiping it. Because fear should be acknowledged, not obeyed. There's a difference. Fear can advise you, but it should never control you. The problem is, many people trust fear more than they trust themselves. You trust your anxiety. You trust worst-case scenarios. You trust your doubts. But you don't trust your ability to adapt. You don't trust your resilience. You don't trust your growth. You don't trust your strength. So your mind keeps searching for certainty instead of building courage. But courage is not certainty. Courage is movement despite uncertainty. Read that again. Courage is movement despite uncertainty. And that changes everything. Because the goal is not to silence every fearful thought. That may never happen completely. The goal is to stop letting fear make your decisions. The goal is to stop confusing hesitation with wisdom. Sometimes your mind is not protecting you. Sometimes it is imprisoning you. You delay your dreams, waiting for perfect timing. You avoid opportunities, waiting to feel ready. You hold back your voice because you fear judgment. And years pass, not because you lack potential, but because fear convinced you that thinking was safer than living. Overthinking often hides deeper emotional wounds. For some people, it comes from growing up in unstable environments where mistakes were heavily criticized. For others, it comes from betrayal, embarrassment, rejection, or failure. Your mind learned that being hyper-aware reduced emotional danger. So now you overanalyze everything. You try to detect problems before they happen. You try to read people's intentions. You try to avoid emotional surprises. But the cost of living this way is enormous. You lose spontaneity. You lose peace. You lose confidence in yourself. And worst of all, you lose time. Time spent inside your own head instead of inside your own life. Because life is happening now, not inside your imagined scenarios, not inside your endless calculations, not inside your fear-driven predictions. Right now. And the truth is, some of the best moments of your life will require uncertainty. Love requires uncertainty. Growth requires uncertainty. Purpose requires uncertainty. Change requires uncertainty. You cannot experience a new life while demanding emotional guarantees from the universe. That is not growth. That is negotiation with fear. At some point, you have to stop asking, what if everything goes wrong? And start asking, what if everything changes because I finally tried? What if your life improves the moment you stop waiting to feel fearless? What if clarity comes after action instead of before it? Because that's another truth most people never realize. Action creates clarity, not overthinking, not waiting, not endless preparation. Action. The people you admire are not fearless people. They are people who learned how to move while uncomfortable. And that is the skill that changes lives. Not intelligence, not perfection, not endless planning. Movement. One decision, one risk, one honest conversation, one step forward. That is how confidence is built. Every time you act despite fear, your mind learns something new. I can survive uncertainty. And once your brain learns that, fear slowly loses its grip. Overthinking begins to weaken when action becomes stronger than hesitation. You start trusting yourself again, not because life becomes predictable, but because you realize you can handle unpredictability. That is true confidence, not the belief that nothing will go wrong, but the belief that you will be okay even if it does. And maybe that's what you need to hear today. You do not need complete certainty before moving forward. You do not need to know every outcome before taking the next step. You do not need perfect confidence before beginning. You just need enough courage to stop letting fear disguise itself as wisdom. Because overthinking will promise you safety while quietly stealing your future. It will keep you mentally busy while your real life waits in silence. And one day, if you are not careful, you will realize you spent more time imagining life than actually living it. Do not let fear become your identity. Do not let hesitation become your comfort zone. Do not let your mind convince you that endless thinking is progress. Sometimes the most healing thing you can do is move. Even while uncertain, even while uncomfortable, even while afraid. Because your future will never be built inside your comfort zone. It will be built the moment you stop overthinking your next step. And finally, take it. This is your mind dose for today.